Happy Easter, everybody. So I'm getting ready to finish up the differential install on the 59 Corvette. As you can see, cars behind me, all torn apart. So we just applied Permatex gear oil gasket maker, specialized formula. So what we did is we scraped off the surface of the differential housing, scraped off the actual axle housing as well, sprayed both of those down with a degreaser, and then we applied the gasket maker to both sides, and then put a gasket in the middle. So we're getting ready to do the install. So I'm going to hop underneath the car here. I'll show you what I'm working on. So I'll set up the camera here. So let's see if it'll stand up. So that's the differential back on. So let's start a couple of these here. So we put lock washers on, and then the nut over the stud, and we'll go around and do that to the whole thing. And this formula that I just put on, let's make sure my big head's not blocking it. So the specialized formula I just put in for the gasket maker asks for these to all be put on and snugged up until the gasket material starts to squish out, and then we'll let that sit for an hour. After it sits for an hour, we'll come back, we'll torque them all down to their specified torque setting, and then it wants to sit for 24 hours before we put any fluid in it. So what I was looking to get done today in my 3-hour project, or 3-day project, is now turned into a 4-day project. So, but we still have a lot of work to do. I can still put axle shafts back in. I can put the brake drums back on, the wheels back on, all that good stuff. So plenty to do. So if anybody's got any questions at any point in time, or if you want to see future stuff in the future, things me working on tractors, cars, boats, whatever, shoot me a comment. If you're working on something that's interesting, also shoot me a tag or a copy of the link or whatever, and I'd like to see what you guys are working on. So we'll get going here in a minute. Let's get all these started, and then we'll snug them up. So not too interesting of a job today. When I actually go to tuning on it or putting the new motor in it later this season, it'll be a lot more interesting. So a lot more specific details I can teach. So technically, putting this differential into, there should be a differential ID tag coming off probably one of these top studs. But this car is far from original, in the process of getting back to being restored. So it did not have a tag on it when I disassembled it. Thus, I'm not putting one back on at this current moment in time. So the date codes on this housing are actually late 57, so it's not correct for the car. If we're going for NCRS Bloomington Gold or something like that, you know, those crazy guys. But, and I can show that here in the video. So if we look, I'm going to try and show this without doing it here, but you'll see this right here. So there's the casting number. You've got your GM, and this is what's called a PK, so there's the letter P there. And then you've got what looks like L97, so that would be the month, the day, and the year. So 7 would indicate 57. So I don't know if you could see that, but if you couldn't, just let me know. Put that back on. And the reason I'm working on the car is my fiance is working today, so I am home alone with the dog, working on the car. So getting some nice weather. So I was working on this all day yesterday, and it was pretty cold. I think it was 44 degrees out all day yesterday. So, all right, let's snug these up. And they're all 9/16 if I'm not mistaken. So I apologize too. I noticed on the videos earlier that because it's in the like selfie mode, it shows everything backwards. So what looks like a right-hand thread is actually showing as a left-hand thread right now. So I apologize. It makes it a little difficult when following instructions. So we just work around and I just snug it up. Double check this, it's not any looser. Yep, and so after this is on, we'll put the drive shaft on, which is hanging over my head. I don't know if you can see it, and it goes into the yoke that's sticking off the front of this differential housing. Right. Alright, so that should be snugged up. Let's go around and check them. Usually they go around a quarter of a turn after you do it once. Alright, so that's all snugged. So we gotta let that sit for an hour for the gasket to form. Oh, my uncle says beautiful day for a drive. Yeah, well, I'm sitting underneath of it. So, and don't forget the gear oil. That's there. Put this. It's lined up here, just like so. And it's gonna nest in there pretty nice. Just put these straps back on. Lock washer. And the nuts. Alright. So we got two. So that's that one done. Let's start the second side here. I should have put that one on first. Gotta go put it in neutral. I'll be back. All right. So that's on. All right, so both of those are started. So we just got to snug those up. All right, so I got to grab a wrench for that because I don't have. Too small, so 1/2. And then I'll snug them up and then I'll put it back in gear and then really tighten them up. So hopefully everybody's having a good Easter. It's nice and warm, weather's finally starting to change. Everybody's working on their cars and getting them out. Alright, so we'll put that in gear and tighten it up. Put it in a good spot. Alright, so we've got it in gear now, so it won't turn. Alright. And just takes a little bit more. And that's tight. Do the same thing for this side. And that side's all tight. And that finishes up the bottom for today. So I'm going to go to the outside and start working on the axle shaft process. So thanks for watching, guys.